legit. Anything you want.
This nation's stacking gold with a fervor and it's being covered up. The stacking of gold is off the charts. What's this nation up to? Why has it stacked so much physical, and what's this nation preparing for? Find out here. The Bank of Mongolia has purchased 18.9 tons of gold in the first 11 months of 2018. Nearly 19 tons. No big deal, right? Actually, 'tis a huge deal, and as you read on, you will find out why. More from Inhua, Ulaanbaatar, December 4. Xinhua. The Bank of Mongolia, the central bank, has purchased 18.9 tons of gold from legal entities and individuals in the first 11 months of this year, the same as last year's figure during the same period, according to a statement issued on Tuesday. As of November, the bank's average gold purchase price was $100,995.34 Mongolian tuguks, about $38 per gram. The bank, which bought 20.01 tons of gold last year, has set a goal to buy 22 tons of gold by the end of this year. We can see the World Gold Council (WGC) has been kind of showing the increase, if Mongolia purchased over 18 tons last year, but the World Gold Council has Mongolia starting 2017 with 1 measly ton, and ending 2017 with 4 measly tons, then something doesn't jibe. The point? The World Gold Council's numbers are rubbish, and you can clearly see that gold demand is much greater than what we're officially being told. Who would you believe? The World Gold Council? Not me. I'd take Mongolia's numbers over the World Gold Council's numbers any day. Why is all this stacking being covered up by the O2 authorities? It can be summed up in one word: eyebrows. The situation in the global economy is so dire right now, that not one eyebrow can be raised. But the WGC covering up Mongolia's stacking isn't the only point I want to bring home. The next point I want to make speaks to the RGENCYF, all this accumulation of physical gold, so for the purposes of making the point, we'll assume Mongolia only has 7 tons of gold in total as claimed by the WGC. That WGC official gold reserves graph only runs through the second quarter of 2018. From the first quarter to the second quarter, the graph shows that Mongolia added 4 tons. But, if Mongolia has added 18.9 tons in the first 11 months of 2018 as Mongolia claims, this means Mongolia has been stacking big time since the second quarter. How big? I've decided to take the liberty to estimate what the graph would look like if we were to update it today, December 5, 2018. To do that, I need to add 14.9 tons to the total, because the WGC only shows a 4-ton gain so far this year. Adding the tonnage and estimating the scale, here's what Mongolia's gold reserves look like if we updated the chart today. Oh my goodness. Parabolic. If I were to draw the graph with the 18.9 tons from last year, the graph would literally be off the chart. The data point from today barely fits as it is. What does Mongolia know? What is Mongolia planning for? It's quite simple really. First of all, this is the continuing theme of de-dollarization. Secondly, and more importantly, this is the ongoing change in the power structure of the world, and Mongolia wants to be a part of the new economic and political realities, which includes China, Russia, the Belt and Road Initiative, and does not include the United States. That's a pretty telling video, isn't it? We can clearly see all of the things we have been talking about for years, playing out in real time, either explicitly or implicitly. De-dollarization, power shift from west to east, gold flows from west to east, the general desire for trade and cooperation over hostility and war, increasing gold reserves by China, Russia, and many other nations, including Mongolia. Official sources and official authorities understating gold demand and official reserves, possible preparation for a global, monetary, and/or debt reset. That's what I got out of the video. Oh yeah, and guess where Mongolia's gold is all toward? If you guessed London and New York, you just won yourself a congratulatory self-pat on the back. Which brings me to one final point, which may be the most important point I make in this entire article, and I'll say it in the form of a question: how much longer is the West going to be able and willing to keep on giving the East gold and silver at dirt cheap prices? The West doesn't have to run out of physical per se. The coffers can just get down to the point where one nation says, "Ooh no, you're not getting any more gold because I need this for myself." Zombie apocalypse preppers can relate with the Pop-Tart analogy. You wouldn't give away all your Pop-Tarts in trade or barter, because at a point, you will want the rest for yourself. But enough of analogies and back to reality, with what we see playing out in real time with palladium, and with what we are seeing around the world with nations adding to their physical stacks, that is, their official reserves, and with nary a mention by the mainstream media, and with understated numbers by the official sources, I would say the answer to my how much longer question is ought much longer. Not only not much longer, but it can happen in the blink of an eye. Let's see what that looks like as it is happening right now with one of the four precious metals. Palladium was roughly $800 on August 16, depending where you look. Palladium is over $1,200 today. So for simplicity, let's just call it a move from $800 to $1,200 inches less than 4 full months. Said differently, palladium is up 50% in less than 120 days. What if gold went up 50% before mid-April, 2019? We'd be talking about $1,885 gold. What if silver went up by 50% before mid-April, 2019? We'd be talking about $21.75 silver. Here's the thing, gold, and especially silver, are super duper cheap right now. And with silver, I mean cheap. Here's the point, you do not want to be late this party. You have to be one of the guests who gets laughed at because he arrives before the party even starts. Why? If gold moved to $1,885 by next April, and if silver moved into the 20 Singapore dollars by next April, it would bring a massive Western fervor into the gold and silver space. That's on top of the mad stacking by the Eastern nations. That dynamic would blow up the paper markets. It can happen that fast, and we are seeing that with palladium right now. We don't know the point in time when the West will no longer give away gold or silver at these ridiculous prices. If you do know that point, you certainly know what is coming, and you have prepared for it. Just know that us ought in the know can sense that something is wrong. Therefore, if you do not have a direct line to the inside, then I suggest you do not be late to this party. As we watch palladium, we clearly see the DJ setting up his turntables. There is no such thing as being actionably late to this party. You risk standing on the outside looking in, shivering in the cold of winter, and totally not partying.